Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, April 10th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call this Wednesday night at around 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about what the holdup is for some things. Eliminate the smoke and mirrors. How do we transcend perfection? Outwardness of the mind is suffering. Inwardness is happiness. Outwardness of the mind is suffering. Inwardness is happiness. Ramana. You ever noticed that your mind can get wrapped around this funny little idea that this life is not perfect exactly the way it is? It seems to believe that all the circumstances of your life could be better and things are not as they should be. The mind can easily become attached to the idea that if something is not perfect, then you cannot find peace, happiness, success, or even love today. For example, perhaps your kitchen is a mess, or there's a pile of papers on your desk, or your loved one isn't behaving exactly the way you'd like them to. Notice how your mind responds to these common daily situations. Do you react with a need for control, judgment, and criticism, or do you find a way to appreciate the challenge with acceptance and a joyful smile? Whatever situation you're facing in this life, no matter if you believe it's rational or irrational, what the mind's reaction, watch the mind's reaction. You can easily get snagged in needing things to perfect in order for you to be relaxed and feel that everything is already perfect in this life, exactly as it is. Whenever you start believing that your life isn't exactly how it should be, it's a warning for you. Beware. The perfection saboteur is lurking close by. We all have some type of hypercritical negative voice inside us. This saboteur's voice is always critical, never easygoing, never completely satisfied, and always wanting more, and only thinking about your needs. The saboteur is always fear-based, deeply lacking in appreciation skills, and concerned with getting whatever the ego wants whenever you do anything in this life. Notice if your inner saboteur is running the show or not. Forgive yourself. You always did the best you knew how to do. When the perfectionist saboteur is behind the steering wheel of your life, you'll notice that you're not smiling often, not laughing very much, and probably having a very serious, stern look on your face through the day. By simply being aware of the look on your face, and noticing if it's often a heavy frown or a tight-hearted grin, you can know if a saboteur has taken the driver's seat in your mind. You can take the steering wheel back from your saboteur by ignoring its long list of complaints, judgments, and criticisms about yourself and others. When you realize that gratitude is your choice and feels 100 times better than complaining, then you take back the happiness steering wheel of your life. You realize that life doesn't have to look a certain way for you to be happy. You can simply choose to accept and allow for life to be the way it is and choose to be happy right now. You naturally start living life from a place of feeling the relaxed alignment with your higher spiritual purpose and life mission. There's only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things that are beyond the power of our will. Epictetus, 1st century AD. The major problem with trying to achieve perfection in anything is that the mind ego will never, ever, never be 100% satisfied. Sure, it may momentarily believe perfection has arrived, yet give it 24 hours, and it will soon decide there is room for more improvement. The reason for this is because the mind has become addicted to desire. It is caught in the wheel of wanting, and it doesn't know any other way to be. It is a wanting machine that only knows how to strive for more. You find true joy and happiness in life when you give and go on giving and never count the cost. Eileen Caddy. We would all love to be the divine manifesting master of our existence who can have anything we want. This level of consciousness is possible once we realize how to detach from our ego's game of trying to fulfill its endless list of desires. The ego is never, ever fully satisfied. That is not its job. Its purpose is to be unsatisfied and always wanting more. Once we realize this, then we have the power to find what does truly satisfy. There's only one thing in this entire universe that will fully satisfy you every time, no matter what. This is the spiritual essence of your being. Your infinite spiritual nature is always at ease with life, accepting life as it is and not needing to improve upon anything. Find this connection with your spiritual nature, and you'll instantly experience everlasting joy, love, and peace inside. What does this all boil down to for all of us? Mastering the ego mind. And with that comes a lot of things. But until we master our ego mind, we will not know who and what we are. Sure, you can trick yourself. The ego mind's good at that, and make you believe that you've made it, right? You know you're the God, but have you surrendered? Have you let go of unnecessary things that you've dragged through this life and maybe from other lives into this life? Have you looked at what you feel are your what? Worries, stresses, fears. Things that you have that you don't visit them, you kind of ignore them. Have you done that? See, there's all these steps. So someone says, yeah, I've mastered the ego mind. They really haven't, because they needed to say it to justify it to themselves, and that's ego mind. So would they say it? No, they wouldn't need to. Why would you need to say it? Why would you need to tell people you mastered the ego mind? You wouldn't, unless it's the ego mind that's actually controlling you. Now, some people might say, why don't we just get rid of the ego mind altogether? Let's eliminate it. Well, you can't, in the beginning, it's your teacher. It teaches you things. So you get up to speed to a certain point, and you master it. How do you master it? How do you master it? Through the breath. You master the ego mind through the breath. You move yourself away from the mind. You step outside the mind. You leave the mind alone. And you only focus on the now through the breath. And that practice alone will move you into the God that you are in that body. Now, the challenge is for us is to maintain it, right? We maintain it, which means we stay there. And what motivates us to stay there? Well, because we're curious. And we would like to know who and what we are. So we commit ourselves to going within. So when we go within, then we discover all kinds of stuff, which sometimes may cause us to back out. Some people just are too lazy and will say, they're not interested in doing all that stuff. They're fine. That's their prerogative. But in order to move yourself out of 3D frequency, this heaviness, this lower bottom frequency, you go within. And you practice staying within. I'm not saying that you're going to stay there immediately because you're going to wander off. But you keep coming back to it. You know how to go back into the now through the breath. And you know how to move into the now through the breath. Anything that's ego motivated, you'll know immediately. If it's ego motivated, you know you're in the ego mind. And remember, the mind is a wanting machine. Never stops. Ever. Period. It just keeps wanting and wanting and wanting and wanting. And wanting and wanting. Is it a negative? No, it's not negative. It's for us to discover. So when we're in the heart mind, are we really concerned about what we have and what we don't have? Are we really filled with fear? No, that's all ego mind. You would believe that one were to know this, they would understand that, well, I'll go in the heart mind, I leave the ego mind alone. That'll end my suffering, all of it. Isn't that interesting? So why do we continue to travel outside of ourselves? Why do we look at the material physical world on a minute-to-minute basis? Why do we believe that all the answers are out there, not in here? It is opposing, so to speak, right? Now, your ego mind is never happy, but it feels it'll be happy if you stay in yesterday or tomorrow. Much more so than you being in the now. at first you try something, right? And you're not too motivated to try it because the ego mind's already saying you're not going to be able to do that. Why did you commit to do that? You can't do that. And of course, fear starts, suffering, worrying. And then you decide, you know what? I'm going to go with that. I'm going to focus on my breath. And I will do this. I will accomplish it. And you do. But it doesn't stick. See, a lot of us doesn't stick. We need more than that to convince us, right? So as you comprehend more and more, it's like two entities, two beings. And the other one is the going within and discovering the God that you are. What we do is we are constantly, because the ego mind master is in charge of things because we've allowed it to be. And see, when you feel the lightness, the healing, so to speak, which is what? Well, your feeling of being out of the mind, leaving the mind alone, ego alone, and being free, feeling light, happy. Now, you would think that people that come into challenges and everything in this life and they lose everything, right? But on the flip side, they feel relieved, lighter, stress-free. Why is that? Because they surrendered it. All of it. They know that it's temporary, and they know they're not going to have it forever, right? So they surrendered it. And let's let it go. And it's a decision, it's a choice. Now you imagine how many of us on this planet that we were to say, okay, I'm going within, I'm staying within, and I'm going to practice being in the now. Right? So all your pain and suffering would end. And you would travel within and you would meet the God that you are. You'd embrace the God that you are. You would merge with the God that you are. In your whole perspective, this is about, we eliminate the illusion of separation. And the God within that body is liberated. Because we decide and discover that we are the God and no longer is it separated. Now, if you read the Bible today, cover to cover, right? You probably wouldn't understand it. You probably wouldn't. You'd pick up some things, you'd interpret some things the way you would want to interpret it. But you would have no clue of its discrepancies. And he said, well, how come I don't understand it? Now, a lot of people have interpreted various versions of the Bible. Preachers, popes, bishops, cardinals, priests, deacons, on. They interpret it through their perspective. You see, when you merge, you become one. That's what we all are. We're the one. And you give up separation. You know what it is, I'll put it that way, okay? You know what it is. You know what separation is, and you know that it's an illusion. And why do you think that the majority of the people on this planet are in the illusion? Does that make any sense? But they don't know they're in the illusion. Because the mind is too small of a container to even understand that. That's why you leave the mind alone. That's why you only focus on the now with the breath. And that's when you begin to understand that you just slow down. What's the hurry? Why is this society pushing people constantly? What's the hurry? There isn't any. Self-created through the ego mind. Because you stop yourself and you go, where am I going here? Why do I feel like I'm such in a hurry to get somewhere? I don't even know where that is. See, this is how you unweave, detangle these illusions that have been set up to fool you. Most of us on this planet, whether consciously or unconsciously, don't care to have the planet be eliminated. Okay? And you have there's two perspectives. There's and this is one perspective. There's a civilization that believes in anti-civilization. What is it? Now, does that mean it's cognizant or aware or conscious to it? No, doesn't mean that. But it's annihilation of life, anti-civilization. Then there's another civilization that on this planet that believes that the opposite, life is the highest supreme value in the universe. See, that's the issue on this planet. You sum it all up, that the unity is not there. You have a small group that believes in an anti-civilization, which means the elimination of life. You have another group that believes life is the highest supreme value in the universe. The anti-life civilization wants only to destroy. It's literally driven and pushed and prodded by the ego mind. It's only there to destroy. And then when it destroys, it's temporary fix. It needs to destroy some more. And some more. So you understand it's connected to the ego mind. Now, the opposite civilization of that is expanding, going within, creating higher and higher vibrational frequencies, discovering more and more, surrendering more and more. But it goes on, doesn't it? You're noticed without judging. You step outside the mind and you look and you say, all right, over here we have anti-civilization. Over here we have pro-civilization. Now, which one do you choose? Do you choose the one through the heart-mind that is pretty predominant, that states life is the highest supreme value in the universe? Therefore, we don't destroy life. We encourage life. We expand life. We assist life. While they destroy it. So you have the builders, creators, developers, visionaries, visioneers that are taking the civilization into 5 density. And the reason they're doing that is because the collective has chosen to do that. And instead of swimming in mud and muck, we'll be swimming in pure, clean, pristine water. Most of the scariness for most of us is to what? Surrender. And see, the majority of people on this planet believe that surrender is weak. But this isn't that kind of surrender. The surrender is surrendering to all of your ills and woes that you have either created by other people's thoughts or that you've experienced and have advice for others. A lot of people ask, well, how come these technologies aren't done? How come people aren't using them? Well, in a way, it's all timing, and the universe knows better than we do. And we have the opportunity and the ability to kind of like shift automatically and once and for all, kneel to yourself. Kneel to yourself. Bow to yourself. Now, to some people, that might sound a little ridiculous, right? But to others, it's a discovery. Well, who are you kneeling to? The God within your body. Who are you embracing? The God within your body. Who are you praying to? The God within your body. Who protects you? The God within your body. Who brings every single thing that you ask for? The God within the body. More and more of that, by choosing to do so, automatically shifts us into higher frequency. And a higher frequency, you feel good. You feel loose, footloose, fancy-free. You're not thinking about doom and gloom or destruction or, end of the world or any of that stuff. You're not thinking at all. Because by being in the now and in the now, you don't think. You don't use the ego mind to deliver you stuff. And how trusting in this very now moment, total honesty with yourself, how much trust, faith, and confidence do you have in yourself in this very moment? How much trust, faith, and confidence do you have in the universe at this very moment? Now, a lot of people will say, because I've asked it over and over again for certain things, and none of them have come into fruition. And if people begin to understand that fact, and they understand that every step they take in the now moment with the breath and deep gratitude, gentleness, kindness, and generosity with oneself, you eventually come in contact with the God that you are. And at that point, there's no turning back. So again, what it boils down to is a choice. And you don't try, you do. And the more of us that become more and more consciously aware that we're the ones making the shift on this planet to a higher frequency, and more are going to step in, because the more there are of us, the more we affect of everyone else. Now you can, and there's people that do this, sit around and listen to all the doom and gloom. It just keeps, you notice how it just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. And then, I've had some people say, well, where's the good news? What's good out of all of this? And you say, real freedom. People think they're free now. And then you remember something. You are the power. You are the master. Your abilities and potential. Collectively, in complete unification, we can eliminate all the bad stuff on this planet in a very short period of time. And we wouldn't be interested in saying, oh, I did that, we did this, we did that. We wouldn't be interested in that. We would just know. And for us, that is spectacular, because that means we're within. The God that we are talks to us all the time. I'm not talking about voices. I'm talking about feeling, energy, shifting patterns. You ask the universe for something you want, that you aren't going to stand in your own way by doubt, fear, distrust, lack of confidence, and you're going to have the opposite of that. And you know that you're manifesting. And it doesn't matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter. All this stuff. For you, you will manifest the life that you desire, the life that you want. And nothing's going to stop that. The only thing that'll stop it is you. We get wrapped up with all this, right? Ego mind seduces us into the mix. And here's something that you can identify with maybe yourself or others. You ever been in a movie theater? Before we had all this other technology, where would you go to see movies? You go to the movie theater. Movie. So you'd go to that movie, and you get yourself back, tub popcorn in your, and then you're eating the popcorn. You get so into that movie that you have no idea that you've ran out of popcorn, and you put your hand into the container and you put it to your mouth, and you don't even know that the popcorn is gone because you're so enthralled and have been so seduced into the movie. You don't know. You don't know what's up or down. You don't know what to believe and what not to believe. You're totally in the dark. And then someone next to you might say, "Are you aware that you haven't had any popcorn in that tub for an hour, but you're still bringing it to your mouth because you left that chair and you entered the movie." It's the opposite of what you were taught. It really is. It's the opposite of what you were taught. And what's the opposite? Well, you are the power. You, even though you don't know it, or maybe not even accept it through the heart mind. And more of us that get on board with this, the more things are going to shift and change. We have no bosses. We've never had bosses in this life, or any life. We've been tricked into believing that we do. And you then begin to unravel things. You don't judge them, you just unravel them so that you're what? Knowledgeable. Experience. So whatever you hear when you're in, well, you kind of maybe bicameral mode, okay? Because that's why the Bible doesn't make sense to a lot of people, because it's written by bicamerals. Then you get to the true heart of things through the heart mind, and you ask your God a question. You say to that God that you are, God, is there any end to this? Is this all going to end, or are we going to liberate ourselves into a higher frequency? Or are we being tricked? Because we've all been tricked many times. The God within these bodies has been tricked, seduced, manipulated, controlled, with a fake world, right? But that's where all the answers are. The God that you are. And you see, the God that you are knows emphatically, not until you change your direction. Not until you embrace me, the God that you are, will you experience this liberation. And isn't it interesting? The very power, the very thing that we don't understand, and we're trained to think out there, but the very thing that has the power to transform this planet into a God planet paradise is within us. Always has been, always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. People say, well, how do you access that? Focus on your breath and listen. Sit still in a quiet area, uninterrupted. Focus on the breath. It's through our intent of the lives that we choose that we want to live. Happiness, joy. It's permanent. It's not temporary. Because it's the God we are, which is permanent. And then we change everything. And you know what's neat about it? It's fun for us when we finally have discovered who and what we are. It's not, oh, it's a challenge or it's an ego boost or anything. It's none of that. We just effortlessly. It'd be like old home week for everybody. Discovering that we're all one. We've never been separate. We never will be separate. Yet we come to the conclusion that we all work together and everything is endless. It's unfathomable to what we are able to do. And then we will move way beyond where we're at in this very now moment. And how does that work? Because we're no longer in yesterday or tomorrow. We've left it. We're only in the now. And when you practice that, all of the things that we shared in these meditations will come together. Bit by bit, start clicking and coming together. Oh, this makes a lot of sense now. It's not relying on things outside of you. It's knowing the power that you are within that body is limitless. It really is. Say you're sitting somewhere. Say you're somewhere. Maybe it might be by yourself. You're not with friends or you're not interacting with anybody. And you're just contemplating. You know, you're just thinking and wondering. And I wonder how life would be this way. Or I wonder if all this wasn't happening, how would things be on the planet? Would I be happy then? We contemplate. But imagine that every time we do that, we move into a deep gratitude, appreciation, a thankfulness for everything. Even if it ended tomorrow and we left the body, we were grateful to have had the time we had within the body. Because we know that our journey is endless and that the gods that we are immortal and never die. And see, with that understanding through our heart minds is what puts us in a high frequency. Because we don't have any fear. Because we know everything is temporary. What do you think would happen? Okay, and we're not talking about fear of dying. Opposite. We know that we're the God in the body. We know that we are immortal beings and we never die. That's the God in the body. We know that the body ends eventually and we leave it. Temporary. And everything in this material plane, all right, that we've created to entertain ourselves is temporary. And the only thing that isn't temporary is what? The God that you are. And the only thing that is real is what? The God that you are in that body. But what about everything outside of us? It isn't real. Well, why is that? Because it changes. Anything that changes is not real. We are real, the gods that we are, because we don't change. Well, what about the learning and everything? We learn. We're divine perfection. We don't change. It stays the same. So you're looking at things and you're experiencing things. You say, well, yeah, I know this isn't real, but I'm grateful for it because it's great entertainment for me. And I'm learning along the way this and that. And you get to the understanding, and the point is that, I'm the universe is me. So why the heck would I worry about mortality, or why would I worry about not having? Because we have everything and anything we choose. We just don't know it. And this should be being discussed globally. Billions and billions of people should be discussing this, practicing this, and choosing to go within. Period. Because now we know that what we created outside of us, it gets pretty, what is it, tasteless. Really, it just, the redundancy of it, if you've noticed. The holding us down, weighting us down. So we eliminate it. And it isn't even a distant memory anymore. And maybe one day you'll be having a conversation with some people and you'll say, how did we do that for so long? Because you'll have cognitive understanding and memory of all past lives. So how did we do that for so long? When we finally discovered the gods within us, it was like, and everything changed. Dark clouds went away, sun came out, perfectly blue indigo skies, filled with joy, bliss, generosity, humbleness, fear, suffering, left us. Doesn't it make sense that the energies that we are would be focused on the inside, the God? That's where we spend most of our time. Embracing the God that we are. And joining the meditation, I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and a slow breath in from the nose. Take an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. You are the highest power. There is a magical manifestation power hidden inside your heart. This power allows you to create any experience in this life that you wish to have. Did you forget that you have this amazing power? Do you realize that you cannot turn off this magical power? You're already manifesting everything that you want and don't want in your life. It all depends what direction you're sending your thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Whatever you focus on is what you're manifesting. This is the way it will be for the rest of your life. And yes, many magical experiences await you in the future. Your sacred manifesting power will be functioning perfectly within you the whole time. Just bring your awareness inside and be sensitive to this magical truth. You'll naturally attract more love, health, abundance, freedom, and happiness. If you don't feel the magic, yet imagine every cell inside of your precious heart is radiating and sparkling with magical golden light. Feel your heart is full of light, and the light is growing stronger and brighter throughout the day. When you go to bed tonight, meditate on your connections with this magical heart of light. Fall asleep with this magical reality and feel the sacred truth is flowing up your spine. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Tuesday, April 11, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. And be in the deepest of eternal gratitude at all times.